Hello and welcome to HTML tutorials. Today we are going to discuss about HTML forms in this session. HTML forms are required when you want to collect some data from the site visitor. For example, during user registration, you would like to collect information such as name, email address, credit card, etc. A form will take input from the site visitor and then will post it to the backend application such as CGI, ASP.script or PHP.script, etc. The backend application will perform required processing on the past data based on defined business logic inside the application. There are various form elements available like text fields, text area fields, drop-down menus, radio button, checkboxes, etc. The HTML form tag is used to create an HTML form and it has following syntax. In the HTML form code, we open a form tag and we write the action there and we give the URL and method is a get or post and we close the form. Now we discuss about HTML form controls. There are different types of form controls that we can use to collect data using HTML form. The first one is text input controls. And next one is checkboxes control, radio box controls, select box controls, file select boxes, hidden controls, clickable buttons, submit and reset button. Let's talk about the text input controls. There are three types of text input used in forms. The first one is single line text input controls. This control is used for items that require only one line of user input, such as search boxes or names. They are created using HTML input tag. And the next one is password input controls. This is also a single line text input, but it makes the characters as soon as user enters it. I mean, it will mask the characters. Masking. They are also created using HTML input tag. And the next one is multi-line text input controls. This is used when the user is required to give details that may be longer than a single sentence. Multi-line input controls are created using HTML text area tag. Now we will discuss about the single line text input controls. This control is used for items that require only one line of user input, such as search boxes or names. They are created using HTML input tag. Let us have a look at the example for single line text input controls. In this example, in body we are opening a form, and form consists of first name, that is input, type is text, name is equal to first underscore name, and then we are using a BR for space, and last name, input type text, name is equal to last name, and we are closing the form and body here. Let's try this example in the browser. So this is a code example for single line text input control. Here this form consists of two different parts. So one is the first name and the other one is last name. Let's save this and run this in Chrome. So this will gives you the first name and last name. It's a single output. We are using a BR tag between the first name and last name to get the line spacing. If you don't use the BR, you'll get the both columns, both options in a single line. And the next option is password input controls. This is also a single line text input, but it masks the character as soon as the user enters it. They are also created using HTML input tag, but the type attribute is set to password. Let's have a look at this example here. In this example, you can see that user ID, that is input type is text and name is user ID, and password is input type is password, name is also password. Let us try this code now. So this is the code for password input control, and I'm saving this, and this is user ID and password, and we have a BR tag separating this, and we are going to run this in Chrome. And you can see the user ID is created here, and say that Steve, Steve is the user ID, and password is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6, but you don't see it because this password option is masking the letters, because password is you should not show the password. So when you type the password here, you get the dots. And the next option is multi-line text input controls. This is used when the user is required to give details that may be longer than a single sentence. Multi-line output controls are created using HTML text area tags. Let's have a look at the example here. In this code example, we are creating a form here and we are closing it here, and we mentioned that it has a description and a BR. That means a line space, and text area rows or 5, columns or 50, name is description. Enter the description here. So we try this code with. Okay, this is the code part here. I'm saving it, and description with text area rows are 5 and columns are 50, and name is a description, and we are closing the text area here. We open the text area here, we are closing the text area here, and we saved it already, and we're launching it in Chrome. So we get this text box like this. So you are allowed to write 5 rows and 50 columns as a description, and we mentioned enter the description here. When we press this here, you can just delete it, and you can write you can write as much as you can, because it is showing only 5 rows. That doesn't mean that you can only write the 5, but you have a provision to write the 5 rows, and you can write more, but there is no restriction is mentioned in the code. And our next option is checkbox control. Checkboxes are used when more than one option is required to be selected. They are also created using by HTML input tag, but the type attribute is set to checkbox. Again, see the example here. In this example, in the form input type is the attribute is checkbox, name is match, value is on. And we have one more input because we have more than one option. When we have more than one option, we will select the checkbox attribute. So we have two different options here, like input type checkbox, name, physics, value, on. So this is the code and I'm saving it and going to run this in Chrome. And see, you get the maths or physics. You can select this and you can select this too. So when you need to select like more than one option, we'll go with checkbox. You can go with n number of checkboxes. And the next option is radio button controls. Radio buttons are used when out of many options, just one option is required to be selected. They are also created using HTML input tag, but type attribute is set to be radio button. Let's have a look at the example here. Okay, we have the same code, like same previous code here, but instead of type, instead of radio button, instead of checkbox, we are using radio button as a type attribute. So rest is the same: subject, math, subject, physics. So let's try this code. So this is the code and I'm saving this. Run and launch in Chrome. Then you get this round radio button. So you can select this maths. If you want to select the physics, the selection is switching to physics. So you can only select one option here, either maths or physics, either this or that. You can make many radio buttons, as many as you can, but in this radio button option, you can only, the user can only pick one of them. The rest will not be selected when you choose one there. And the next option is select box control. A select box, also called as drop down box, which provides the option to list down various options in the form of drop down list, from where a user can select one or more options. Let's have a look at the example here. So here in the form, we have select name, drop down, options, value, maths, selected maths. So it's a default selection, so we use the selected. And option value, physics and physics, we are not using selected here because in that option math is selected as a default value. You can leave it, but if you want to select maths, you can leave it. If you want to change, then you press the drop down option. Let's try this to understand it better. So this is the code example for drop down option. I'm saving this, run, launch in Chrome, and you can see the drop down here. So we said that it's selected, so math is selected, but when you press the button here, you get the two options like math or physics. When you select the physics will go there. If not, you can select the math. The default value is math. If you want to leave the math like that, you don't need to drop down, but just check it, physics and math. And our next option is file upload box. If you want to allow a user to upload a file to your website, you will need to use a file upload box, also known as a file select box. This is also created using input element, but type attribute is to set to file. This is the example. It's a file upload box and we are opening a form here. Input type is file, name is equal to file upload, accept image. Let's try this code. So this is the code example for the file upload box, and I'm saving this. And here you can upload images, so because it's mentioned that select image here, and I'm going to run this in Chrome. Then you get this option, choose file, and I'm going to choose from images. I'm going to choose a smiley like sample.png, and this is how we create the file upload option in HTML. And our next option is button controls. There are various ways in HTML to create clickable buttons like submit, reset, button, and image. Let's have a look at the example here. So we have a submit, reset, button, and image, like all four types of button controls here is in the form, and we're closing the form here. The input type is submit, name submit, value submit, reset, type button, and image. Let's try this code. So this code is the best example for button controls, and I'm saving this. So we have four types of button controls here: submit, reset, button, and image. And I'm running this in Chrome, and we get yes, submit, reset, okay, and just a second, there is a problem in the code. Yes, this one, I forgot to remove this, and I don't have a logo image there. I have a sample.png in my folder. Okay, I'm saving this. I'm going to run this again in Chrome. Yes, I have this image like submit, reset, okay, and yeah, this is also a button, but this image is a bit bigger, so you got a bigger image, but you can control it by giving the size parameters. So if you see them, all these buttons are clickable, all four of them. And the next option is hidden form controls. Hidden form controls are used to hide data inside the page, which later on can be pushed to the server. Example. Yes. Here in this code, we are dealing with the three different types. And first one is type is hidden, and name is page name, value is 10. A type second one is a submit, submit. A third one is reset, reset, and reset. So let us try. So yeah, this is a code, and I'm saving this and gonna run this in Chrome, and we'll get like this page 10, submit and reset. Hidden form is being used to keep the current page number. When a user will click the next page, Then the value of a hidden control will be sent to the web server, and there it will be decided which page has be displayed next based on the past current page. So this is how we deal with HTML forms. This is all about the HTML forms. So that's it for the session. Thank you very much, and see you in the next session. Until then, bye bye.